Call The Connection at 922-9000.
In the eyes of the world, she's a beautiful model. But in the eyes of the law, she is still a he. She went from a...
Here are tonight's winning Lotto Minnesota numbers. We'll repeat these numbers in a few minutes during KARE-11 News at 10. From your 24-hour news station, this is Paul Majors, Diana Pierce, Tom Reither, and meteorologist Paul Douglas. And this is KARE-11 News at 10.
495. Now, how do you get that into the machine? You put the answer in, you put 5.
It's a classic case of role reversal. Students at the Saturn School in St. Paul get to teach the lesson, and their pupil is the President of the United States. But the day wasn't without its problems. More than a dozen demonstrators wound up in jail for protesting the President's visit. Good evening. President Bush showered our state with praise today, thrusting Minnesota into the national limelight for its quality of our education.
The president's trip to St. Paul and the protests it sparked are just two of tonight's headline stories. In just a moment, horrifying pictures from the nation's capital and a crime story that defies description.
And I could tell by the sound of his voice he'd been hit.
Also, the death of an innocent Twin Cities man gunned down in a gang war. And the story of a Minnesota woman who turned a losing lottery ticket into a gold mine.
But first, our top story, the first presidential visit to St. Paul in 12 years. George Bush is heaping praise on St. Paul's Saturn School, crediting its teachers and students with reinventing American education. As KARE-11's Brad Woodard reports, he's hoping schools all over America will follow Minnesota's lead.
Would you like to have the teacher's chair or the learner's chair? I want to sit in the learner's chair.
Perhaps without even knowing it, the president summed up Saturn School's philosophy with his lighthearted quip. Teachers here try to instill in their students that learning is a lifelong process. And when it comes to computers, the commander-in-chief is the first to admit he's not in command.
I'm just starting to learn, and I'm in the keyboarding on all these different shift keys and stuff.
For an hour, he was one of them.
495. Now, how do you get that into the machine? You put the answer in, you put 5.
Interacting with students as they demonstrated the school's $500,000 computer system, funded in part through partnerships with businesses and foundations. At times, he seemed more like a grandfather than president.
Well, I see they're giving us a little nervous signal over here. I'd much rather sit and learn from you all. So I got to go on about my business.
His business was promoting his education initiative, the America 2000 plan, which calls for hundreds of schools like Saturn throughout the country.
You're sailing this country into the future. You are creating public school choice. Minnesota is out front. It is the wave of the future, and you are to be congratulated.
While the idea for the Saturn School of Tomorrow was conceived long before the president's new initiative, it possesses many of the characteristics the president envisions in his America 2000 plan. Saturn officials say what works here might not work elsewhere, but they hope the visit will at least serve as an impetus for more innovative thinking in school districts throughout the country. Brad Woodard, KARE-11 News, St. Paul.
It's a rare day when Republican presidents visit St. Paul. George Bush is the first Republican president to stop in St. Paul since Dwight Eisenhower back in the 50s. 14 American presidents have visited Minnesota's capital city. Until today, the most recent was Jimmy Carter in 1979.
Not everyone who saw the president today showed up to welcome him. Several hundred protesters chanted across the street from the library. Now watch closely as 2 eggs are thrown from the crowd at the president's limousine. One found its target. Moments later, police arrested 3 demonstrators, and Secret Service agents ordered buses and trucks to block protesters from the street.
I have spent 30 years trying to help young people understand what a democracy is and how it protects us.
And this?
And this is a travesty.
Later, officers used mace and stun guns to control the crowd. Officers arrested another 16 protesters after complaints that their megaphone made it hard to hear the president's speech. All of the people arrested today are facing charges of disorderly conduct.
It's not often that a story about crime defies description, but there's one unfolding in the nation's capital tonight that gets pretty close. 5 muggers from Washington, D.C. were apparently so proud of their crimes they recorded them on videotape. In one case, a mugger brutally punched his victim, then laughed about it for his homemade video.
Out of one punch, knocked the man out. Knock the man out.
The tape also shows the suspect urinating on the face of his unconscious victim. The crimes happened in 1989, and 5 suspects have since been arrested. They're now on trial, and authorities are using the tapes to prosecute them. One of the suspects claims they intended to send the tapes to drug dealers in New York as a warning to avoid the muggers' territory in Washington. An innocent 20-year-old man from Nebraska is dead tonight, caught in the crossfire of a Minneapolis gun battle.
Troy Quigley moved to the Twin Cities a year ago to pursue a career in music. Last night, Troy and his brother Todd went to a Minneapolis nightclub to hear the bands. As they were leaving, they walked into a hail of gunfire. KARE-11's Brittany Grace reports.
Troy Quigley loved the guitar and hoped someday to make it big in music, so he often went to nightclubs to listen to the bands. As he and his brother left the Mirage last night, gunfire rang out, and they were in the middle of it. Troy was shot and killed. He died in his brother's arms.
And he said my name faintly, and I ran around behind his car, behind my car. He was laying there, covered in blood, and I held him and told him to hang on. I was going to get an ambulance, and he looked at me, and his eyes didn't blink at all, and he groaned a couple times and sighed, and he was gone.
Troy worked as a kitchen manager at a South Minneapolis restaurant. Today, the place opened late. Workers were too distraught about losing a friend they loved.
He didn't have a mean bone in his body. Just always happy, never down about anything, you know. The last guy on earth you'd want something like that to happen to is the kind of guy he was.
He was just a real good guy. And I guess it's true that the good die young.
This morning's shooting was the second in this area in the past week and second murder here in the past 2 months. It's a 2-block area with 5 bars in it. Area residents and customers say when closing time comes, it can get bad here.
1 o'clock, it's packed out here in the parking lot, and everybody has a few drinks, and a little anger starts sometimes.
After questioning several people, police have arrested 8 suspects, 4 adults in their 20s and 4 juveniles. Within the next couple of days, police expect murder charges to be filed against some, if not all of them. In Minneapolis, Brittany Grace, KARE-11 News.
An autopsy shows Troy Quigley died from a gunshot wound to the chest.
Horrifying new details are surfacing in the case of a murdered family of 5 from western Wisconsin. As KARE-11's Rick Cupcella reports, they're shedding new light on how the family died.
Tonight, there's little doubt that the Bernizer family met a most gruesome end. Pieces of their bodies have turned up in at least 2 locations, and it appears there's much more to find. Authorities tell us they've collected dozens of bones and bone pieces, mutilated, some burned, some just dismembered. 1 foot here, a pelvis bone there, parts of arms, even pieces of teeth. Still, with all the bones collected, authorities say at the very most, there's only 10% of any one body found. Some pieces were scattered throughout this car. The latest pieces were found at the Bernizer's trailer. They are believed to have been dug up by the front door of the family's home. With small bones found completely intact, the notion that most remains were burned away loses credibility. Small bones burn first. If they're intact, and they are, it is almost certain that bigger pieces are yet to be found. Now, Paul Dye, among the latest pieces found by police are pieces of teeth, 2 pieces from different teeth. Experts say that's caused by trauma, the teeth literally being forced from the jaw, quite possibly after death.
Rick, can we assume then, it seems to me that these people did not die in the car fire?
That's certainly what it's looking like. I mean, with pieces turning up not just at the car, and by the way, all pieces that were found in the car were charred. Not all of the pieces that were found at the home were charred. So that would certainly lead one to believe that the actual deaths did not occur at the car.
All right, thank you very much.
State and local officials got an earful tonight from people opposed to plans for a new garbage incinerator in Rosemont.
It's a legacy that we don't want to leave with our children or anybody else's children to have to clean up.
Garbage burner opponents claim the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency deserves their Dead Fish Award for supporting the incinerator proposal. 200 people turned out for the last public hearing on the issue tonight. County officials and the PCA staff say incineration is the best alternative to landfilling, but opponents of the $110 million project say the burner will pollute the air and nearby lakes with mercury. The PCA board votes on the issue this August.
Roseville authorities are still on the scene of a fuel spill at this hour. Early reports are that 1,200 gallons of fuel spilled while an Amoco tanker was being filled. The accident happened at a tank farm near I-35W and County Road C. The fire department has coated the spill with foam as a precaution. The situation is not believed to be a health hazard.
Persistence pays off. Just ask Judy Erpenbach of Wilmer. She won a Minnesota Lottery grand prize today with a losing ticket. She bought it a couple of months ago in Wilmer, but instead of throwing it away, she followed the rules and sent it to lottery headquarters. Judy's first round loser came up a winner today. As a result, she'll collect $1,000 a week for the rest of her life.
Judy.
Ooh, lucky lady.
Absolutely. The hot and stickies may be hanging on for a while longer. Paul Douglas has an unsettled forecast.
And sports will take you live to Pittsburgh, where the Stars are preparing to do battle in Game 5.
Later, an interesting connection between the president's airplane and Minnesota.
But next in the Extra, a story of tragedy, inspiration, and the end of an era in Minnesota.
When it comes to gunplay,
You women crazy.
Got that right.
foreplay, good times, or grand theft, the best man for the job is a woman.
I'm real sorry about this. I apologize also.
Susan Sarandon, Gina Davis, Thelma and Louise, rated R.
Starts Friday at a theater near you.
Go for size, not
We don't
location.
make enough.
A mortgage is a mortgage. Let HUD set you straight if everyone is offering you advice on buying your dream home. Let real estate pros help you buy a HUD home. They'll do everything from finding homes you can afford to doing the paperwork. And HUD pays their fees.
The experience of buying and owning a car hasn't changed much over the past 90 years. So why would a new car company called Infinity commit to changing it overnight? With warranty and service standards that could make the experience of buying and owning a car something it's never been. Perhaps it's because most people think the experience isn't everything it should be. And that seemed like reason enough.
Long distance for business. Yes, LDB recommends caller IDs because caller IDs serve as a constant reminder to your employees that your company is cost conscious. With LDB, all caller IDs are free. We will not take away the savings you will enjoy when using caller IDs by charging you extra for them. Yes, LDB is the best long-distance company for your business, and yes, we would like the chance to prove it. Terry and I invite you to attend the games.
The tickets are free, the memories are priceless.
All those great expressions, lots of good smiles, a lot of pretty teeth, a lot of sincerity.
A Burnsville drama coach delivers a pep talk to his cast, a speech that marks the end of an incredible era. In tonight's Extra, the story of Tom Raz, the driving force behind an extraordinary theater production called Showtime.
Showtime is unusual as much for its audience as for its performers. Over the years, the high school students which make up Showtime have performed at prisons all over the country. Now, for reasons that are both tragic and inspirational, the curtain is coming down for the last time. KARE 11's Ken Speak and photographer Jim Douglas explain.
All right, nice to see you. How are you doing? Good to see you.
Well, we missed you a
Good,
whole bunch.
good. Well, thank you. I hope things are going well. Have fun tonight.
Bye.
Good. There, I know these friends. Have fun with the show.
The show, it's become an institution in Burnsville.
I'm ready to go out there. Let's do it.
These are the latest generation to feel the nerves. They had a run of 7 performances ahead of them and a sold-out house to play to.
It's on the far left section, like 3 or 4 rows out.
For 30 years, they've gotten together like this, a few more each year, to celebrate what's come to be called the pride of Burnsville. And one reason they celebrate is Tom Raz. His is the vision, the persistence, the inspiration that took Showtime to 44 prisons in 14 states.
Yeah! Way to go. Looking good, kids.
It's because of Tom Raz that over 600,000 prisoners have felt the magic, as they say. And Tom Raz was preparing his kids for the last Showtime production. You see, Tom Raz has Parkinson's disease.
1980, when the doctors told me that I had Parkinsonism, he said, you should be able to get about 5 good years, and then you're going to have some of the effects and going to give you trouble. That was in 1980, and it's 1991. I had 6 extra years, and I guess I figured I would have been blessed.
I got this part down. This is the only part I know.
If Tom Raz feels blessed, folks he's touched feel just as blessed. That's why a bunch of Burnsville alumni got together to work up Hello Dolly one more time.
We got it! We got it! Yes, we got it.
There's such a bonding between everyone who has ever been involved in Showtime, and whether they're the graduates from 1964 or 1984, they all have a special bonding to each other and Mr. Mraz, and we just wanted to honor him.
The year that I was in Showtime, it was '86, we went to Indiana State Prison, and on our way out, there was a place where we could meet, and the prisoners were in a gate there in a section, and you could hear them crying, and you could hear everybody, all the guys on our side, everybody crying. And hearing that slam and the echo is something that we'll never forget. You know, it was a really neat experience, and it's too bad that it has to end.
Do this for him tonight, because this is the biggest night of his life.
Do it.
Right on. Let's have fun. More important than
Lord, help us remember the inmates when we perform. This is for them, too.
The hardest thing to let go, it's just murder.
The show was on. Some laughed, but there was a sadness in their faces, a finality that caused others to fight back tears. And while more than 50 acts were on the program, folks in the audience were surprised that it was over so soon, that indeed it was over. And a teacher, a friend, someone who'd encouraged them to do their best, would do his best to live with Parkinson's disease. Ken Speak, KARE-11 News, Burnsville.
Tom's doctors told him last month that his Parkinson's disease was too advanced for him to continue teaching.
The Burnsville School Board has renamed its auditorium in his honor.
Which shoe will help you pick more winning horses at the Downs? This one? Or this one? Willie Shoemaker and Shoe U are your best bet. And here's one more sure thing. Memorial Day, get a free fanny pack stuffed with coupons, free gifts, maybe a $50 bill, or $5,000 in cash.
Ooh, take home a bundle.
Don't miss Memorial Day at the Downs. Get a free fanny pack and up to $5,000 in cash.
Your local Northland Ford dealers dare to compare. The award-winning Ford Taurus with a multi-port fuel-injected V6 engine, standard driver's side airbag, 6-passenger seating, available anti-lock brakes, and more. We're so confident you'll buy a Taurus after a test drive, we'll give you $100 if you buy any other car in its class. It's the Dare to Compare $100 Test Drive Challenge, going on now for a limited time, only at your local Northland Ford dealer.
For 35 years, Midas has been providing quiet.
Well, it's time we made some noise. Midas announces Quiet Riot Days.
We're celebrating our anniversary with the best undercar services in the business, guaranteed, and great Midas values, like this great offer on the Economizer muffler. It's only $19.95. That's right, $19.95 installed and guaranteed. So get to the riot, and we'll provide the quiet. The Midas Quiet Riot. For great values, nobody beats Midas.
Nobody!
Next time on Cheers, Sammy squares off with his old enemy, Gary.
And only one of us is going to walk out of there standing.
Let the bar wars begin again. Who will survive the Killer Bloody Mary competition?
Actually, I rather like that one.
Well, all's fair, folks. Even the old undercover bartender trick.
He might actually pull this thing off.
They're taking no prisoners. Next time on Cheers.
What he's trying to say? Don't rip off the...
Wednesday at 10:35 on KARE-11. You're watching KARE-11 News at 10.
Time now to head out to the backyard. Paul Douglas is already out there. He's enjoying this sticky weather so much.
Yeah, I am enjoying the water. Did you feel the excitement in the air today here at KARE-11, Paul and I?
When your new unit went in out there?
You got water in it now?
There's water in it, yeah.
Uh-huh.
The ribbon cutting, it was kind of emotional.
It's got sort of that Colorado Rocky Mountain Babbling Creek sound, doesn't it?
Well, you know, the backyard is booked now for most of the summer. A whole convoy, a whole contingent of busloads of folks from Iowa coming up to check out this tourist trap. We hesitated putting this in during the drought, but the drought is over now. Boy, is it over. Okay, it's kind of pretty, this water garden. It's got some water lilies out here, and we're excited about that. Let's check out tonight's winning weather spy 2 for your viewing pleasure. Here is what tornadic winds can do. This is the result of a tornado that went through Morton, Minnesota back in 1942. Look at that. That's a board that went right into the tree and actually became a part of the tree and grew for several years that way before the tree finally died. Early board indeed. Tonight's second winning weather spy photo. Look at that. Talk about a boiling, downright mean-looking sky. A gust front, the leading edge of a cool downdraft. And straight-line winds can be quite severe here. Quite a bit of wind shear. Thanks to Nick Neaton of Watertown for sending that in. Today's high 85, a low of 68, just about 1/10 of an inch of rain fell. In the backyard right now, 76, partly cloudy, south winds at 14, the dew point 66. That's high. The humidity 71, the barometer now on the rise. Here's the satellite loop. Big thunderstorms across the Dakotas. The heaviest activity, extreme northwestern Minnesota. Roseau picked up 2.6 inches of rain this evening. Quite a bit of flooding, a lot of standing water in fields. The thunderstorms that were around the Twin Cities quickly dissipated. Check out the latest weather map, and the severe thunderstorm watch has just been canceled for extreme northwestern Minnesota. It was warmer today in Kodiak, Alaska, 69 the high, a record, than it is right now in Grand Marais, 43 degrees. One more day of upper 70s, low 80s tomorrow. It's going to be humidous, very sticky, and then winds turn around to the west, a slight drop in humidity on the way for Friday. I think it will start to feel a little bit better by Friday afternoon. Moist tropical winds giving way to a little bit of improvement, as you're about to see in the forecast. It's coming up next.
Newsflash. A runaway meteor will hit the city in 10 minutes.
Cow! Let's get out of here!
Nonsense, we haven't eaten yet.
There's no time.
How about chicken?
When you want a good meal but don't have the time, there's new Minute Chicken. Tender breast fillets that cook in just 5 minutes.
Time to go.
Great chicken.
Did I leave the oven on?
Remember, there's always time for new Minute Chicken.
I believe when you give people the best price, they'll give you their business. Seems my approach has been picked up by a credit card company.
Introducing Price Protection from Citibank MasterCard. If you buy something with your Citibank MasterCard, then see it in a printed ad for less, we'll refund you the difference up to $250. So you can get the best price no matter where you shop.
Offering the best price has kept my customers happy. I'm sure it'll do the same for Citibank's customers.
Not just MasterCard, Citibank MasterCard.
You'll find savings to remember this weekend during Wick's fantastic pre-Memorial Day sale. Save 10 to 50% on every item in the store. Everything's on sale. All Sealy, Simmons, and Spring Air bedding has been reduced. Plus, save even more. Put no money down with no payments or interest charges due till September with a Wick's charge.
Better than ever, Wick's Furniture.
I really believe in Almay. Like Almay Wet-Proof Mascara. It seals in thickness and length. Seals out smudges, smears, and flakes. It's great with contact lenses. Almay Wet-Proof Mascara.
Tired of overpaying for an overnight pickup? We'll be right over. For UPS on-call air pickup, call 1-800-PICK-UPS.
Here's what Doppler radar looked like since about 6:30 this evening. Thunderstorms dissipating around the Twin Cities. A few showers popping up west central Minnesota, but the real threat of severe weather, at least for tonight, seems to be over. Live Doppler picking up a few pesky showers near Alexandria, Fergus Falls, and Park Rapids. Here's tonight's forecast. Basically muggy, a touch of fog. Best chance of thunder, extreme western Minnesota, 65 to 70. And then for tomorrow, a good chance of severe thunderstorms by late afternoon. It will be hazy and warm, low 80s. Could get pretty rough. Friday, a drop in humidity, more sun, a nice day, and then back into the soup Saturday, and a portion of Sunday as that big storm over the southern Rockies approaches. Wish I could be more optimistic. More sun, I think, on Monday. Paul and I, the nice thing about this is during recess time now, we can just kind of roll up our pant legs, come out here, splash around.
Oh, yeah, that is the nice thing about that.
But management's going to be out here. We're going to, I don't know.
Okay. We'll see you a little later.
Yeah.
Thanks. Well, if you haven't done any long-distance driving since Easter, be prepared for a shock at the gas pumps. The AAA says unleaded gasoline will average $1.20 per gallon in Minnesota this Memorial Day weekend. That's 12 cents higher than during the Easter weekend. The increase is usually an annual event just in time for the summer driving season.
In sports, instead of a best of 7, it's now a best of 3.
The North Stars are determined to win again in the Igloo. We'll have a live report from Pittsburgh.
And an unlikely pitcher's duel at the Dome. Tom Rather has the highlights when we come right back.
Tonight's KARE 11 weather has been brought to you in part by Amoco.
Hop into Amoco and take the Silver One tank test. Fill up with 1 tank full of Amoco Silver. It'll clean up the filthiest fuel injectors. Not 5 tankfuls. Not 3 tankfuls. New and improved Amoco Silver with even more cleaning power does it in just 1 tankful. Or your money back. So take the Silver One tank test and bring back the acceleration. Bring back the power.
Get rolling to Sears' huge Memorial Day carpet sale right now, because every carpet in the store is on sale. Berbers, textures, plushes, top names like Stainmaster, Wear Dated, and Worry Free. With over 2,500 styles and colors to choose from, all at prices that'll put a bounce in your step. And backed by Sears' promise of satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Get rolling to Sears' Memorial Day carpet sale, because every carpet's on sale, but only through Monday.
Raised in the Swiss watchmaking tradition, he learned to value precision. But Mitchell didn't care about time. He was a fisherman, and he wanted to create a fishing reel that was timeless. He did. A reel so dependable it became a legend. The Mitchell 300. Now, after 44 years, he has created another. A reel with patented new advances, plus the old-fashioned quality of the original. The Mitchell 300 and the 300 Excellence. The legend continues.
If you've got a passion for pepperoni, but Italian sausage also makes you sizzle, now Pizza Hut gives you these 2 favorite toppings together at a price that can't be topped. The new Italian Classic Combo Pizza. Piles of pepperoni, tons of Italian sausage, all smothered between 2 layers of cheese. And now get one for just $8.99, a second just $4 more. Pepperoni, Italian sausage. But you better hurry, this deal is going fast. Pizza Hut, making it great!
Lots of stuff to talk about in sports tonight. You got baseball, you got a little bit of everything going. You got hockey.
We might as well stay with hockey. That's
Sure,
kind of the
why
biggest
not?
story. Really, the North Stars picture really doesn't look quite as rosy after last night's 5-3 loss to Pittsburgh on the Met Center ice, tying the series at 2 games each. Randy Shaver and Jeff Passolt, they're in Pittsburgh right now, so let's go to them live for more on the Stanley Cup Finals. Gentlemen, how's it going there?
Well, not too bad, TR. We have another beautiful night in
Yeah,
Pittsburgh. It was
gorgeous.
another warm day, so the weather could be a factor at the Igloo, because we've seen in the past when it's been real hot here.
Can't beat this team 2 out of 3 coming in here in Game 5. We're going to be ready, and we're excited to get going.
We heard a lot about Game 5 in the Chicago series the other night in the locker room, the North Stars locker room, how they came out in Game 5 in Chicago and won 6-0. So they're kind of hoping to garner that same feeling tomorrow.
And they wrapped up the Edmonton series in Game 5, too, so Game 5 has been good to the North Stars, and we hope it'll be good to them tomorrow night, and they can regain the home ice advantage, so to speak.
Yeah. So that's it from Pittsburgh here tonight. We'll be live tomorrow at 5, 6, 10, and 11:05. TR, let's go back to you.
Yeah, you guys know the media doesn't overplay things.
No.
Not at all.
Not
I was
at
going to
all.
say, they're
Not
from
at all.
Pittsburgh. What do they know anyway? Right?
All they do is make steel there. What do they know? Let's not forget the Twins amidst all this hockey.